Here we go. I'm Ari from the Tech Buyers Guru, and we are with Tony O from SilverStone. This is an exclusive. Hey, Tony. Tony is in New Taipei, Taiwan. I'm in Portland, Oregon. We've actually met many times at CES in Las Vegas. Hopefully, that will go ahead in 2021. We don't know yet. But of course, Computex, which is a big PC industry trade show, didn't happen this year in Taipei, Taiwan, and that would have been at the beginning of this month. Is that right?
Yeah, it was originally planned for June. It was later postponed to September, but now it's completely canceled.
Yeah. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this showcase. We're going to have some exclusive previews of some products coming from SilverStone because, of course, you continue to develop new products even if Computex doesn't happen. So we're going to focus mostly on cases, a few of which we showcased actually at CES this year, and people were quite interested in those things like the Alta F1 and the Sugo SG14. I think you'll be showing us more about those today, but I'm going to let you take it away. If you know pricing and availability, of course, mention that, and then I'll follow up at the end with some questions.
Okay, so yeah, on the release day and also the pricing, they're just rough estimates. So, it may not be the price I quoted, maybe higher, lower when it actually comes out. So yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, great.
So over here, I have actually this, I believe is a sample that we have from CES, but with everything built up with liquid cooling. So I'll show you really quickly what this can really do.
Now this is the Alta F1.
Alta F1, yes.
Yeah.
So actually, if you look over here, I have two more Alta F1. These are more closer to the production units. So things like the working addressable ARGB lighting strip here on the bottom. So that's something that we've added since CES. Okay. And we think for the production units, this lighting strip here will probably not include it. Okay.
Okay.
Let people maybe do that on their own. I think people looking to buy this case, they want something a bit more, I guess, reserved, right? So they probably don't need all that link unless you really want to. But we're showing that, what's possible here in terms of liquid cooling setup. So like I mentioned to you, I think at CES, this is, we provisioned this part on the top to fit, liquid coolers and fans. So here we have a 360 millimeter radiator on top, as well as one on the bottom. Okay, so you can also see that the case does have, I guess in the traditional cases, this will be called a vertical GPU mount, but we're doing, I don't know what we would call this, right? With the car angle this way, like parallel vertical.
Right.
This way, right? So this is what the case will look like. Here, let's move on to the more production-looking cases over here. So we've settled on the configuration of the standard model. We'll have dual tempered glass, so one on the back side and one on the front side, like this. Okay.
Great.
And there'll be filter on also the magnetic filters on the back of the case. I'll show you on this black one, like this, so it'll be easy to take out.
And is that for the power supply?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've also added magnets on the bottom of the top cover. So this is still real aluminum part. Okay, so this goes on very easily like this. Okay. We've also added a very discreet SilverStone logo in the front over here. And I believe we'll do the same with the black case, where the logo would not be white like this. That will probably be more discreet, more faded.
Mm-hmm.
Better fit.
Right, like a silk screen or something like that.
Yeah, so it's maybe a black silk screen so that it doesn't really pop out that much. Just maybe a little bit like what the silver color here is. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so we plan on making a black version and the silver version, but we also decided to do a third version, so to say. So this is the quiet version of the Alta F1. Right? As you can see, there are no tempered glass.
So steel on both sides?
They're on both sides. And I'll show you what's behind the steel panel. So again, to release the side panel, all you have to just press this button here on the back. And that'll release the side panel, right? So we've applied sound dampening material to both side panel, as well as the front and also this bottom panel below the fan to help really absorb the noise away from the case. So
Great. I think a lot of people will like that. A lot of viewers of my initial video were looking for no glass, just steel.
We've heard, yes. Okay, so I think everything else is pretty much the same. And for fan configuration, we've finished our thermal testing and we've decided to include 3 140 millimeter air penetrating fans inside.
All at the bottom?
All at the bottom, yes.
Yeah, that's great. And what's the, we discussed this at CS, but there were other configurations you considered. What were those? I assume your thermal testing said this was the best, 3 140s.
The best compromise, yes. So this case can fit up to 2 180 millimeter air penetrator fans. But it's, it's a much more expensive fan. And the performance difference actually between the 2 180, because the case is actually still has a bit of room for you to move those 180 millimeter fans inside. So 3 140, I think it's in this case here, you can see, show you. It covers, it has better coverage for most of the components. Yeah, so you can see these are the fans that we are.
Yeah. And what model is that? Is that a new model of 140 air penetrator?
Yeah, it's a it's based on the AP 141 that we had, but it's all black now with the ones that we're going to include in this case.
Okay, great. Now, do you have a price set for this? Now that you know the configuration, do you have the prices?
Yeah, so we're guessing somewhere around 180 to 200 range for MSRP.
Will it differ based on the side panels you use?
Yes, for this, we are thinking that maybe a little bit lower cost. We're still calculating all of that. So
sure.
More information as we get closer to launch. So
and
we're hoping to get this out sometime shipping in September.
Great. Wow, that's a big launch. And I know a lot of people are excited. Would it be fair to call this the new Fortress?
I guess you could, because we are calling the Alta F1. So F is like a spiritual tribute to the Fortress series.
Right. So you are not, at this time, planning on new Fortress cases in the Fortress line?
No, we're not. For tower cases moving on, since we're probably not going to be using those old tower case series.
Okay.
It will just be Fara, Seta, and Alta.
Right. Very good. Okay, well, this is one a lot of people are excited about. It would be great to see this in September. So thank you for sharing some details on this. What else do you have?
Over here, I have actually 2 new models based on the same internal design. So this will be called the Seta. In this configuration, this is the Seta H1. H stands for high airflow. Okay,
great.
So you can see it's full mesh panel, but it's got some interesting lighting effects. I'll show that to you right now. So it's got a ARGB strip that runs down front. I don't think we'll be including the ARGB fans. Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe we'll just include all black fans. So
I think that makes sense. You know, there are 2 different approaches to ARGB, either kind of the light strips or the fans. And I agree, I don't think you need both to get that front lighting effect.
Yeah. So maybe those of you watching can also give us your feedback.
Yeah, that would be great. Do you have?
The RGB fan would be more expensive too. Yeah.
Sure.
So something to think about.
If you only included the light strip, would you have any fans in the front?
We're thinking of including 3 black fans.
Black fans, yes. I think that makes sense. It's an airflow case. So, and what would there be a rear fan?
We have to think about that. Maybe we'll also include 1 in the back. It all depends on the price because we have now maybe the MSRP of this from a little bit over $100 to maybe up to 140, 150-ish range, depending on configuration.
This reminds me a little bit of the Primera PM01, at least in terms of the airflow design. But
so yeah, it's this classic all intake that we've been doing for quite a while for a lot of our performance models.
right.
Yeah, definitely the same. And the H1 will come standard with tempered glass, edge-to-edge tempered glass side panel. And you can see the inside, the case is actually not that big, but it still fits up to SSI EEB, true extended ATX motherboard. So those are the motherboard dual CPUs. You can fit that inside here. And you can already see on the top cover, there's plenty of vents, also to mount even more fans or even radiator like we showed here. There will be these 3.5-inch drive trays that will fit, you can fit up to 6 of these on the front. Obviously, that will limit your motherboard to the more standard ATX ones, but I think these are also useful. We're still deciding how many of these to include as well. Okay, so
Are there going to be any hard drive mounts below the PSU shroud?
There's already 2 hard drive cages inside this PSU shroud.
But you think you're going to offer more than just those 2?
Yeah, we're talking about, we're thinking, how many should we include, like 2, 3, or even 6? Do people need that many 3.5-inch drives nowadays?
Well, probably not, but if you didn't, would you be able to offer those aftermarket?
If we can fill it up, then we'll likely have to sell these separately. Okay, so that's the H1. We also have a second version of this chassis that we will call the Q1. So Q obviously stands for quiet. So this will be the front panel for the Q1. And besides the front panel, let me show you what other things will make different. So again, the side panels will come with the same sound dampening material that we applied to the Alta F1 quiet version. Okay, very dense and thick. I mean, it actually makes the side panel really heavy, so I really like this material. The top cover of the Q1 will also be different. So this one will also have that dampening material, but you can actually remove this to reveal vented cover. So if you want a little bit more airflow on top, without that sound dampening, you can do that too.
Or for a radiator, for example.
Right. Of course. But I think what we are doing very differently with our front panel design is here. This is also quite heavy. This side is a steel plate with a plastic frame, and here's what the inside looks like. So I'll show you what it looks like when I open this up. So this is the fan filter. I have this limited airflow path for the front intake fan that has a very, very deep cavity that is lined inside with sound deadening foam. Okay, and it's hard for me to show you like this right now, but inside is not just a regular 90-degree bend that you see in other silent and quiet-oriented cases. Inside, we actually make angles and bend.
Yeah.
So the air and sound wave actually has to travel like this before they can reach out to the side. So that means by the time they get out to the side, the sound waves energy would have been absorbed by lots of sound energy.
That's true. So you kind of have like a maze for the air to go through.
Yeah, like a maze.
Really interesting. So that stops the sound but doesn't stop all the airflow.
Correct. So you can see on the side, these are also slanted downward.
Yes.
And there's actually lots of area. We make sure that the area on both sides is greater than here. So that means you're not getting compromised by the side air vents. So you
Why
should
do you?
get a reasonably good cooling performance out of this.
Yes.
With superior silence.
Why is that slot in the middle not as wide as the fans?
Well, because there's angles of bend inside.
I see. Okay. Now, this reminds me a little bit of your KL07. What did you learn from that case that you've applied here?
That case was still not as quiet as people expected. So that's something that will definitely improve in this one. So we kind of did a compromise with KL7 in which we still care very much about airflow, but it comes to be that people, when they look at that case, they're thinking that, okay, the cooling is very, very good still, but it's not as quiet as they wanted to. It's sort of like, in the middle of nowhere, maybe.
I see.
Some people like, I do. I like that good compromise. But I understand that some people might want to go for the ultimate silence. Then this would be the case for them. But Seta Q1.
And which fans is this going to come with?
We're still deciding on that. So they'll definitely come with either 2 or 3 120mm fans. And
You know, a lot of people have been talking on my channel as I've been doing reviews of case fans and cases and talking about how you can actually achieve pretty low volume levels by running very low RPM fans with a lot of airflow.
yeah.
This is obviously going in the, what's that?
If there's enough room for additional fans, yeah, that's
like you did that with the, what's it called, Seta A1. That is that,
yeah,
which
yeah.
yeah, which I reviewed earlier this year. That had 2 large 200mm fans. And it was actually really quiet, but it wasn't meant as a quiet case. Do you think that?
That was sort of like a last minute change sort of thing. So
Right, right. But you believe this will be a lot quieter than that case?
Should be. Yes.
Are you at all concerned about a maximum level of components that you can put in here? Are you going to label it and say you can't put a 300-watt GPU or a 250-watt Core i9 in there?
I think you still can, but you cannot expect the temperature to be as good as a full mesh case. I
Right.
mean, I guess it depends on the expectation. If you're expecting to run everything as cool as a regular case, obviously that's not going to happen, right? But like I showed you earlier with the top cover, the case is capable of letting you decide how much more airflow you want to have.
Right. I think that's a great idea. That reminds me of some of your competitors' cases. And I think it's a good idea. Give people the flexibility.
Yes.
So, and now, is this going to be, what is the target launch date for these 2 kind of twin cases?
So probably late Q3, early Q4-ish.
Okay, and will they be launched side by side, or are you going to stagger them?
We want to launch them together, different versions.
Yeah, that makes sense. And which, maybe you mentioned the price already, but the ARGB version, will it be more expensive than the quiet version, or do they kind of equal out when you add in the noise dampening?
Probably equal out. Like I said, I'm not too definite on the price, so just figure something on maybe 120 to 140-ish.
Are those the AB120R fans that I recently showcased on my channel?
These?
Yeah.
I believe these are not those AB120.
Oh, are they 120Is?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think those have a maximum.
But these are just for demonstrations.
Oh, what would you
going to
include?
The same thing.
Do you know what you would include yet?
No, not. For the black fan, it will probably be something similar to what we had in our other cases before. But like I said, these are all still not final.
Sure. Okay. Well, the AB120R is a very good fan, but I know it's not cheap.
It's included in our liquid coolers. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else do you have?
Okay, so I have over here. This is a Fara case, so it's an entry level, and you can tell by the size it's a smaller case, so it's a micro ATX. This is called the Fara V1. So the inspiration for that V is just obviously the styling of this case, where you have these two ARGB light strip that runs down and ends in this ARGB fan in front.
That looks really cool. But are you going to have a whole series of V cases that have that same?
We'll see how the market responds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with styling if they all have to have a V.
Yeah. So again, edge-to-edge tempered glass, and plenty of room for graphics cards, CPU coolers, and everything.
That's a micro ATX, isn't it?
Micro ATX.
Yeah.
So it's a very standard layout, and it will be, because it's a Fara case, so it will be the price range 70, give or take, maybe $80, $70, $80. And
Is that using existing tooling from one of your other cases?
It's a newer tooling for micro ATX, so it's a little bit bigger than some of our budget micro ATX cases that we had before. So this one, this is the longest card we have in the office. Triple fan setup, so you can see it's quite long for
Nice.
ATX. Okay, so it'll fit pretty much anything.
And do you have a target date for this one?
This one, Q3, I believe.
You have a lot coming out in Q3. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I think it's $70.
Everything on Q3, and if we don't make that happen, we can always say Q4. Second.
Now, of course, we should mention that we're in the middle of a pandemic that has delayed a lot of your products. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are shortage in some of our products.
Now, do you expect that you will then have a lot more case releases in the second half of the year, or did you have to push everything off?
Some of these were scheduled to be released actually by Computex, a version of Computex of June timeframe. So that obviously have been pushed back.
Yeah.
So it has affected some of the release of these products.
Sure. Okay. Now I see you have an LDO3 airflow next to you. Of course, I just reviewed this.
So you guys know all about this case already, right?
Yeah. But actually, we didn't know the exact price or when it's going to launch. I couldn't tell people. Do you have that date yet?
It's already on the way to our US office. They should be getting these, I think, in a week or two. So they should be on, if our US up, I think the resellers in the US should have this up, sometime next month.
Okay, so early July. And is it 130?
Yeah, it should be about around there.
Okay. Do you believe you'll still sell the original version with the glass panel, or are you going to EOL that case?
We'll see how the run rate goes. If people are still buying the original, it's still a bit cheaper. So you don't need absolute the best air cooling ability of this form factor, this look.
Yeah.
And the original is still a very good case. Especially if you use liquid cooling. Right? We found out.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, that people know about that.
Air cooling, the best possible way in this form factor.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think one of these cases next to us has been shown before, and one of them may be brand new.
Yeah. So over here, this is the SuperStone or SG14 we were showing you guys at CES. So this has remained pretty much the same as that original case. We played around with branding somewhat the case since then, and also the USB port configuration, as well as make sure that we now have captive thumb screws.
Oh, that's a nice addition. Yeah.
So you don't need to completely remove them and lose them anymore. So those are the changes that we made since then. But one other major change since then is the addition of this new model that we will be calling the SuperStone 15. So it uses the same chassis design as the 14, but it now comes with this nice, very nicely finished sandblasted aluminum front panel. And all the panels on the top, bottom, and also on the bottom side, they're all aluminum as well.
Wow, that bottom looks very cool.
It's all the same.
Beautiful.
A nice material outside, so it really gives that premium feel to it. And the case is really hefty. And the captive thumb screw is also a higher quality version.
Those look nice.
The black version will make it black.
Okay.
And then there will be a silver version as well. To really.
Oh, so kind of the same material you use for your, say, your FTZ01.
Yes, some of the.
Yeah. Beautiful silver aluminum color. That's a great look for any SilverStone case.
And one of the port on the 14 is a 2.0 in addition to 3.0. This one will be a Type C. So
you'll have 3 ports up there.
Yep.
Yeah. And what about the pricing of these two models? Overall, the big difference is the aesthetics. The performance should be the same. So, well, I assume that's right. If it's not, tell me. But what about the pricing for that aesthetic upgrade?
This one would be considerably more expensive. So we're targeting this maybe around the $100 range.
Okay.
This will be up in the 180 maybe. Yeah.
And will they include fans?
We're still thinking about that. The case, as you know from CS, will be able to fit up to 2 140 or 120 millimeter fans.
Right.
This side. So it's very capable. And there's also another fan at 120 you can fit into that. So potentially you could have a dual radiator inside this case.
Can you open it up to show us where the radiators mount and also show people the power supply mount? You did something different here with your power supply mount.
Yep. So you can see all the panels are very easy to remove. They have filters inside, by the way.
Very nice. You know, I've done a series of videos on the SG13 recently, as you know, and I can tell right away this is a more sophisticated case. The SG13 is known mostly for its very low price. I can tell there's a lot more tooling involved. There's a lot more work that went into this case. So this is not a replacement for the SG13.
It's also much bigger. This is close to 20 liters in size, while the SG13 is about 11.
Right.
And right away, you can see it's a lot more intricate in terms of its design, layout. And one other thing I'd like to mention is that the material of this is definitely an upgrade to the SG13. And also, I think some people, because we had tempered glass on the LDO3, for example, so a lot of structural rigidity was being held together also by the tempered glass. Help save weight if we go too much of that. But we didn't have that concern here. So this case, without all the side panels, is still super solid. Okay.
Now, you did preview a different prototype a couple of years ago of the SG14 that was based on that LDO3 chassis. And you decided not to go ahead with that design. It did have front to back airflow, but you had some concerns about the rigidity of the chassis without the glass.
Yeah, that was part of the reason as well. And also, it wasn't space optimized because the LDO3 by design was designed to be a 3-sided tempered glass. So we want the components to be in full view through the tempered glass. So there were design choices made to this case that was made to show off. So it was not an efficient design by our usual small form factor.
Got it.
So that's what we want to do here, is to maximize the space layout design. So over here, like I mentioned to you at CS, this one has a 520 drive bay capable if you still want to use Blu-ray or DVD drive in this case. Obviously, with that installed, you'll be limited to just one fan here,
Mm-hmm.
the size of the drive. But if you're not using that part, you could have 2 fans here on the side, or we have a drive bay mounting here for like 3.5 or 2.5 inch drives. Okay. And here on the back, that's where you can mount your second liquid cooler radiator if you wanted to. On top, here you can see a little bit more fan mounts.
What is that circular framing there? Is that just to mount a fan?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, Tony, I'm a little bit.
So as you know from your own testing, right? A lot of modern graphics have the exhaust heat everywhere, so having another fan here.
Right. But, okay, I see. There was no way to affix the fan to the actual top of the case because you've actually removed that there. So you had to create a framing for it, even though it does block a little bit of the airflow, the frame itself. But that it's a compromise to be able to get a 120 millimeter fan in there.
Yep.
Okay. And what is the, there's additional framing there, I think, to hold your power supply. Is that right?
This over here, yeah. So this part here is your power supply cavity. So you would install the power supply from underneath. This fits an ATX. So the reasoning for doing this is that when you have the power supply inserted, grab one. Okay, so over here I have an ATX, standard size, 850 watt power supply. So you install your power supply like this on the bottom. You can see if you don't use a power supply that's too large, this one is a standard size 140 millimeter. You get lots of room here for your cable management or your access cable. So usually with the small form factor cube case design that we had before, a lot of those cabling actually gets in the way inside.
Yes, of the graphics card.
Yeah. So with this design, that doesn't happen. You can have all of that stored here.
Very cool. But what about the venting? I'm a little concerned about the power supply venting to the back of another component, like does it vent against the video card or potentially against your 240 millimeter cooler?
We have mounting holes drill, so you can install it either side, depending on what works best.
Got it. Now, you know I'm a big fan of your SFX line of power supplies, and for years I've been recommending people use them in the SG13 with your PP08 adapter. You'll still need the adapter for this case to mount one of your SFX units.
That is correct.
Okay. Is there a reason you went with ATX, given that you have so many great SFX options on the market?
Well, with ATX, you get even more options, right? Because you can fit ATX on SFX. So that's what we want to do here. I mean, even today, I know SFX, as popular as we help to make it to be, right? There are still people that just like ATX. So in the case of this size, if we can design an ATX PSU compatibility,
yeah.
Like in LDO3, for different purpose, we were limited to SFX in this particular design.
Right. Maybe as a little bonus to people buying the SG15, you could throw in the adapter in the package. Think about it.
Well, yes.
And so you've already mentioned, so around $100 maybe for the steel version and $200 maybe for the aluminum version. Oh, and you wanted to show me something else there? I can't quite see. Is that a card holder?
Yeah, so we designed this holder here that's adjustable, so they can actually help hold your graphics card like this.
And I saw the triple slots. Of course, you've designed this around the very common triple slot design that a lot of the high-end GPUs are using now.
Yeah, I think most of them are now more like 2.5. So
yeah,
basically, you know, it's better that we do a triple slot now for this, you know, what this case was designed for.
sure.
Most powerful cube ITX case from SilverStone. So
Yeah.
that's what
And
we
remind
have
me again, where does the 240 millimeter mount?
over here.
Okay. Got it. So this has a lot of capacity for a very high-end setup. You don't have front to back airflow, but you have the ability to mount a lot of a 240 and a 120 simultaneously.
Yeah, but you have to look at the thickness. So that
Right.
may be something that you have to watch out.
Okay.
Venting on all the panels. So
Very nice. Very nice.
it'll breathe.
That's a nice update from the SG13, which had slightly limited venting. You didn't have it going all the way from front to back on the
Yes.
CPU side.
It's a different era.
Yeah,
And
it's a very
also
different era.
different, price level of PCs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is a very exciting case. The SG14 is one I've been talking about a lot because people want the additional capacity over the SG13.
Yeah, this
So-
just satisfies most needs.
So when is this one coming out?
This one is also in Q3 that we try to push out.
And how about the 15 model?
We want them to be released simultaneously.
All right, very exciting. I didn't know, I don't think anyone knew there was going to be an aluminum version.
A little surprise, the 15.
I think that's going to, you know, it's going to really be noticeable when you go to the silver version. It's going to look quite different. Right now, they look somewhat similar, but your silver aluminum panels are very distinct.
They'll have nice sandblasted, sort of like a matte metallic look.
Yeah. You know what? You've renamed all your micro ATX and ATX cases with the Fara, the Seta, the Alta. You're still using Sugo. This particular SG15 really seems like it could actually be like a fortress. But how did you decide to keep, in terms of the material and the price, how did you decide to keep that?
Yeah, Sugo is, for us, small form factor cases in like a cube form factor size. And this falls in what we consider small form factor is anything 23 liters in size or smaller. So something like this one is 25, so we don't actually consider that a small form factor. And had this case been bigger, then yeah, maybe you would call this the Seta or even Alta, but that's for another day.
I have one more question for you, and I warned you about this. You know, a lot of your competitors are coming out with cases that rotate the entire case 90 degrees so that the GPU faces down.
Yeah.
And I'm curious why SilverStone hasn't done something like that yet. It seems as simple as just putting feet on one side of that case and changing the front panel style a little bit. Why do you continue to go with this shoebox design that's wider versus a smaller footprint that's inverted?
Well, we've done inverted cases in micro ATX and ATX formats. But for Mini-ITX, you know, we think that some of these designs still are better, makes sense. So
in this case, it looks like, I can see the back of the case. It actually looks like a square in the back. It's pretty even. It looks like the dimensions are fairly close. The width and the height are almost identical.
Yeah. We've considered this layout before, but you know, in the Mini-ITX form factor is still more interesting, I guess, to us to do this way.
Yeah.
Because of the more square form factor of the
Yeah.
Mini-ITX 17 by 17, right? So there's a lot more you can do with it without making the shape look weird. But yeah, I mean that's something we've considered before, but we just
Okay.
that interesting compared to what we're doing.
Right. Well, I see one more case sitting next to you that I'm interested in, and this has just been launched on your website.
Yep.
The ML10. It's one I've asked you to make for years, and you finally released it. Tell us a little bit about the development of this case and what factors you had to weigh in to make this better than all the other ultra small form factor cases on the market.
Well, I guess people like you have been asking SilverStone to make this for a while now. It is a sort of like a hole that we didn't have filled for a long time, where we've always focused on building Mini-ITX cases with lots of capability, right, to fit the full-size graphics, content, everything. And yeah, in some way we sort of not have gone this because it's difficult to make a sort of like this type of case with no expansion slot and everything. Interesting. We can't really make it different. That's why we sort of held back on doing it, because there were already such type of cases on the market. And it wasn't until recently that we thought, okay, yeah, maybe there's a way to make this type of case different than what we've seen before. So that's why we came up with this ML10 now. That comes with two different front panel sizes and two top cover for you to change the case depending on your configuration needs. So that was interesting for us.
So tell me, I looked at your specs on your site, but I want to confirm with the smaller front panel, can you fit an Intel 47 millimeter tall cooler? Your specs say 31 millimeters plus drives above it, but I don't know what if you don't want any hard drives, no 2.5 inch drives?
Well, from what I know is that they may be touching us. Okay, so we're very conservative with our numbers. We don't want to quote the numbers that people can potentially have their stuff touching. Okay. So that's why we're kind of iffy about that.
I see. So it's not official. Okay. So on your site, you don't say anything about 47 millimeters tall with the smaller front panel. It looked like you needed a 31 millimeter tall cooler. Does SilverStone make something that small?
We have a few like this.
Okay.
We have ones that are really super small.
Got it. And what if you wanted to use an AMD cooler, like their Wraith Stealth that's 55 millimeters tall? Can we do that?
Elevated top cover configuration like this one. That you can fit.
That's great, because obviously a lot of people nowadays are buying the APUs from AMD, and they all include that taller cooler, which is a great cooler, by the way. But of course, it doesn't fit in a lot of those ITX chassis that were designed 5 years ago around the Intel standard, which was a problem if you wanted to use an AMD APU. So that's going to be, I think, a big market. My personal opinion is that's a huge market for this case.
So before we had pizza box cases like this before in the form of our PT13, but that was a thin Mini-ITX.
You also had that one off the STX model.
Yes, yeah, but we never actually officially launched the product. Well, actually,
You did.
I was thinking of the micro STX. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
The
You had the Mini STX. Unfortunately, that standard didn't last very long.
Too bad.
Yeah.
So this one takes a standard Mini-ITX case. So unlike the thin Mini-ITX, which all of them have onboard DC power, this one obviously for this motherboard, as an example, doesn't have an onboard DC power either.
So what do we do?
So after the launch of ML10 case, we'll also be selling separately these DC boards. They will come also with their corresponding AC adapter.
Right.
2 watt and also 120 watt versions.
Sorry, what were the 2 wattages?
60 and 120.
60. 60 is pretty low.
Yes.
Um,
But if
with
you're
a
using a very low power, it's okay.
Yeah. If you looked at a 65 watt, a typical 65 watt APU. Yeah. Okay. So those will launch after the ML10 launches or at the same time?
It's one of those things where the recent pandemic has affected cooling. So the power supply or the DC board plus AC adapter, this product is delayed.
That's too bad. Okay. I believe people can source that from other manufacturers if they want. Are you aware of whether or not any third-party DC boards fit in that case?
We'll look for them and provide the customers.
Yeah. So the ML10 is already on your website. When do you think it'll ship?
It's shipping now from the factory. So they should be on the way and probably in the US, available maybe late July.
Late July. And when do you think your boards, power boards will ship?
Probably maybe another month or 2.
Is there any chance that once they're available, you will bundle them into a new SKU?
We're definitely thinking about that. So there may be models where you'll have the DC board bundle already, and we've been thinking about not giving just a very basic model if people don't need a dual on panel, which is release one size.
Would you include the taller one then?
Yeah, or the shorter one. Some people might not want the additional expandability, right? They don't need a slim drive. They don't need anything else. They just want the smallest possible case, and maybe the short version.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I guess you'll hear back from your consumers which one they're using.
So in the very first go, we decided to launch the case with both sizes, and this is for people, early adopters, to play around with it, and then we'll see how the feedback's are.
And at CS, we talked about this maybe being around $60, but do you know now what it's going to be with the 2 front panels?
So it'll be, maybe now up to the $70 range. Yeah.
That's reasonable. Do you know what your power boards would cost when they come to market?
I don't at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
The competitors out there who've been around for many years sell that kind of package for around $100 with a maybe 90 to 120 watt power supply. But they don't have the advantage of fitting the AMD Wraith Stealth, which is a huge advantage that you have here. Well, that's great. Well, it's been almost an hour. Thank you. You're probably getting tired just standing there. But I'll let you take a few minutes to show us anything else that I don't know about yet that you're very excited about.
All right. I have this is something that doesn't look special, but I think it requires also up on the website. I like to go over a little bit. So this is as you can see, it's a server chassis, 4U size, short deck or server case. But on the front here, you can see a half SilverStone logo venting design, kind of cool. And if I open this up, sample. So you get 2 500 drive bay over here, plus areas to mount, where you can see it are 2 120mm fans, right? But we will also include a Type-C port over here on the front. This may be the first time that you'll see a 4U server case with a Type-C port. Also, we made sure that there's enough room for you to actually fit a 240 liquid cooler or radiator here. So that's also something that you don't see in server cases.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of neat where we have this case where you can use as an enthusiast PC build. So that means we're also going to be including vertical foot stands, where you can set up your case to look like a regular tower.
Wait, you are going to sell it that way?
We're going to sell it with vertical foot stands, and also you can use the regular Rackmount gears. So
Yeah. Very cool. All right.
That's something that I thought would be pretty interesting to some of your viewers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's really.
Power supplies. So some of these you guys may have seen already from CES as well. So again, we have power supplies here that are coming. SFX-L, 1000 watt. Standard size SFX and 750 watt.
So that's up from, you have an 800 watt titanium SFX-L, and you have the SX700, which I have behind me here. So you're just going up 50 watts, still platinum, fully modular. Did you think there was a market for having both? Is that platinum as well?
Yes, both of them.
So is there a market for having a 700 and a 750 watt platinum model? You think so?
Yes.
They're only 50 watts apart.
There's a price difference. It's hard to, once you get higher and higher up on the wattage level, it gets difficult to make it.
Yeah. Is it based on a
sizable price difference still? We may just we're still deciding. Maybe the two 700 watt model, we have one in 80 plus gold and one in 80 plus platinum. Maybe one of them will go away.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And this is, of course, your flagship's going to be this new SX1000 Platinum model.
Yep, brand new logo now, design.
Looks nice. Looks really good. Now, I don't think you have any competitors in this space. No one else. You're the first to market with a 1000 watt SFX-L.
Yeah, it only counts if we actually have it for sale. So it remains to be seen.
Okay.
I think we don't have any competitors yet.
Yeah.
1000 watt.
That's very exciting. Good stuff. That's why I really want people to use that in the SG14. But maybe if you include them out in the SG15, that's the power supply they should be using.
Maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. What else do you got here? Something very, very big.
Yeah. Actually, not that big. So this is a power supply with a typical 180 millimeter depth.
Wow.
So normally something this size, you see like 850 watt, or maybe 1000, right? With SilverStone, we put 1650 watt inside.
That's amazing.
Okay,
that is.
We're used to doing this for a while now, especially with SFX. So those experience helps to develop, the ATX power supply into something smaller.
Now, is that gold rated?
Yeah, this is gold rated. So this one would be more focused on their electrical performance and also their quality inside. So sometimes when we try to design for, I guess, durability, and if your efforts are not always on efficiency, then yeah.
That makes sense. I get it. So that's for something that's maybe going to be running 24/7, very high wattage.
So this one will be rated at this wattage at 50 degrees Celsius operating temperature.
Wow. Great.
And over here I have something that looks like a 500 watt power supply, but it's actually 850 that I just showed you with the pseudo cases. So this will be the D850. So both of these will be the new, well, not new. We've used this name before, the Decathlon series from ago. So we're bringing this back because we believe that they represent maybe a level higher than what our current Strider series.
Yeah.
Power supplies are.
So I'm just looking. I have an ST85F and the ST1000 PTS. Those are both platinum rated, and they're very small, 140 millimeter.
Yeah.
They're both. So that's still 140 millimeter.
Yep.
But why is that a better power supply than your ST85F?
Well, this one focuses more on better electrical performance. So for our Strider series, they are usually around plus or minus 3%. in terms of their voltage regulation. So this one aimed to be a bit closer to 2%.
Who's your target market for this? Who needs that better regulation?
We actually have quite a number of customers that are more system integrators. They're more concerned about other things that maybe are different from the typical enthusiast, right? That wants something that really has nice 80+ badging, right, and all the bells and whistles. So these are a little bit different. For those of you that are very familiar with SilverStone from the past, the Decathlon series were pretty famous for being good power supply for overclockers, for example. So they want that better stability.
That makes a lot of sense. So someone who's more interested in that stable output than efficiency.
Yeah.
And I assume that you're not going to use a zero fan mode in these power supplies.
We can depend on models. If it's possible to do that, we'll do it. But normally with these, for example, this one, we'll probably not have that inside. We should make sure that they run constantly. They're designed to run 24/7.
Right. Now your 850 watt platinum model, when it's in stock, we all know there's been a run on the power supplies and everybody's sold out. But that's typically around 150 or 170. I assume this Decathlon will be a higher price than that.
We'll try to actually keep it reasonable, compared to the Striders.
Okay. Wow. That'd be great.
Because we understand that the 80+ badging may still make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing probably worth mentioning is I think we've shown this off before as well as the entry-level power supply with a ARGB fan inside. Okay.
You know, some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it, but it's good to have it.
There's a button here where you can change different lighting mode on the fly.
Can you sync it with a motherboard using the?
Yeah, over here.
Nice. That's the 5-volt 3-pin.
Yeah, so ARGB, yes.
Yeah, great. I think some people will love that. There's definitely a market for it.
Entry-level model. So
yeah, sure. That's that stands for essential. Is that right? Yes. ET is essential. Okay. And then the Nightjar, that's your silent line, your fanless line.
Now to 700 watt.
You had a 450 and a 600.
Yeah. So we've been selling fanless power supplies since 2003 nonstop. That makes us the longest running brand to be selling fanless power supplies. So
the question is, are those power supplies still running?
What do you mean?
I mean, are they still operating after being fanless for 17 years?
I have one of our original 300 watt fanless. I still have in one of my personal PCs.
Well, there you go. You should lead with that. These last 17 years without a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're built. They have to be built better quality. They're overbuilt actually for their wattage.
Sure. Because is this based on a 1,000 watt unit?
No, this is a complete redesign.
Oh, so sometimes you would base it on a higher wattage model.
We use a higher wattage model, and then we downgrade its wattage, and maybe modify some of the components inside to make them fanless. Yes, so that's how we used to do fanless power supplies before, and actually that's how we did the NJ450.
Yes. But this one's ground up, designed.
Designed on a ground up to be fanless. So
and do you have pricing or availability? Obviously, these cost more. People should, before you say the price, people should know a fanless PSU at 700 watts is going to cost more than an actively cooled 700 watt power supply, right?
For sure, yes. So our current 600 watt, I think they're going for
like 180 or 200 maybe.
Price on some, not inflated all the time. So I think they're around 150, 160. So this will definitely be more.
Okay. I think they're more than 160 now, but in the US at least. Yeah. So what's that? I don't use those form factors. So tell me.
These are still standard form factors. This is TFX and this is FlexATX.
Okay.
Both of these are often used in like the pre-configured PCs that you see from big companies like HP or Dell.
Right.
It's actually quite a number of people looking for these power supplies replacement or even upgrades, because usually HP and Dell don't sell you cost, or they cost a lot to buy.
Right.
And a lot of these FlexATX also go into the NAS systems. So if they don't use very high quality ones, they usually give up, or maybe the fence goes bad inside, and after about maybe a year or two. So a lot of people actually look for these. And currently we will be making likely the highest wattage for both form factor and 700 watt here. There will also be a 500 watt available for this, and this will be up to 500.
Do you sell any cases that use these form factors?
Not yet. We used to have a case that used TFX, but that was discontinued many years ago. But when these are released to the market, it will likely enable us to, for at least for our case product managers to come up with new case design to fit these.
Yeah.
So it's more like a chicken and egg thing, right?
Right.
If we don't have a house plan in the market already, why will our case designer be designing cases for these?
Right. Well, with those capacities, you start to open up new opportunities.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
700 watt, you're looking at something very capable.
Yeah. Well, this is great. You've answered all my questions. My viewers will have questions that they will post on this video. Will you be able to directly respond to them on YouTube, or do you want me to filter questions over to you and then I'll get them the answers? What's better for you?
You mean should I directly answer them?
Well, I don't know. Do you do that? I don't know if you ever comment directly on videos. Maybe that would open you up to harassment. I get my fair share of harassment on YouTube. But one way or another, you'll be able to answer some questions either directly, or I'll pass the questions on to you and post them. Yeah. So I think people will have a lot of questions for you. So this is pretty exciting. Obviously, with Computex not happening, that was a letdown for a lot of manufacturers. But you view your schedule as able to move forward without that public showcase. Like, did the fact that Computex got canceled?
So that's why we set this up for customers, direct customers.
Yeah. What do you think about CES? Do you think it's going to happen? They said it will, but
I don't know at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
We'll probably decide on CES maybe later this year, maybe October.
Yeah.
See how everything works. I don't even know if I could go to the US and come back. Right?
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much, Tony. This was fantastic. I'm a big fan of all your products, even if I sometimes don't love them. I'm a big fan of them.
Fan of your work.
Thank you. Thank you. And hopefully we will meet again face to face sometime soon.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tony.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.